Are you thinking about buying your Launchpad membership? Well, I'm going to say hold on, because there's some particular chart patterns are unfolding, especially for BSCPad, one of my favorites, but we want to look at the price action. Can we get it at an absolute discount? Well, that's what we're going to cover in today's video. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And if you don't know me by now, my name is Jagir. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been trading currencies for over 15 years, featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008. But now I focus exclusively on crypto. So now let's dive into the BSCPad website. Now, I'm a big fan of the Bluezilla team. I've used their platforms. I love IDO's initial DEX offerings because it means you can get in at the real low price and then ride that token to the moon, right? To the moon. That's always the hope. AdaPad did a 150x, 160x. NFT launch, I believe, just hit 100x. SOS did a 5x, 3, 5, 6x. There was Wagyu, which did a 70, 80x. And so now this IDO season's coming into play. However, it doesn't change the fact that IDO's memberships are expensive, right? They're expensive. You know, to get in at the bronze level, it's 1,000 tokens. So today's price of BSC, let's have a look. Let's jump into CoinMarketCap. Let's go into BSCPad. Today's price is $1.33. $1.33. A few days ago, it was $1 higher. It was $2.30. So what we want to look at is, can we get this at a discount? Because sometimes it's all about timing the market, where you can get the exact same product, but for like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% discount in comparison to today's price. So that's what we're going to dive into today. So what I wanted to quickly show you is the basic membership, $1,000, 1,000 tokens times $1.33 today is going to be obviously 1,300. Then if we look at the higher tier membership, let's just think about a Blue Diamond. Blue Diamond is 75,000 tokens. Blue Diamond means you get the most amount of allocation plus private sale. Some tokens have private sale, which means you get extra allocation exclusively for Blue Diamond. So if you wanted one of those memberships, right, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. It's going to be 75,000 tokens required times $1.33, today's price, around $100,000, right? $100,000. But it's now the right time to buy. Let's say you was thinking about a platinum, even a diamond, which requires 25,000, or a blue diamond, is now the right time. So now let's look at a few things, because there's some big projects coming up. And the biggest one, I think, on the 22nd is ValusPad. ValusPad for the Valus blockchain is on the 22nd, which is around 9 days away as of right now. Yeah, whenever you see this, I'm recording this on the 13th. But what I wanted to show you is, I did a recent video on Bitcoin, and you know, we pegged this quite nicely that, you know, we was expecting this correction and this has happened. But what we're anticipating next is a surge up and then a bigger move down, And if this bigger move down occurs, it will more than likely panic the markets, including launchpads, because when this happened, even launchpads went from 230 to like BSCPad that same day, went from 230 back to like $1.60, and then it kind of skirted up, and then it's done a bit of a further correction. So what I want to show you today is, maybe be patient before you buy your BSCPad. Yes, because let's look at the technicals on the price action. You know, it's like, do not buy yet. I'm on DEX Tools, and there's a particular chart pattern that is unfolding with Binance Smart Chain Pad, BSCPad. Let's go to full screen. We'll keep it like this. I've really narrowed in on the data, mainly because the most recent price action has shown a change in the trend. You know, the trend overall has been down, really down. But like if we want the full data, when we've gone to CoinMarketCap and look at the whole data, we'll see that the price has been going down. But this recent action, especially when they announced, the Bluezilla team announced, or BSCPad announced AdaPad, price just shot through the roof. So that optimism is coming back into the markets and into the launch pads. But what I wanted to focus on today is this area here. this area here. What are we seeing and what should we anticipate, and is now the best time? Because ideally, you want to be buying when everyone is crying about the price, when it's painful that the markets have come down and it's scary to buy. But that's what the pros do. They look for times of pessimism where everyone is selling. You want to be considering buying your membership. When it was down here, when no one was really talking about it, there was a quiet, very quiet period where there was almost no announcements. I mean, the Bluezilla team was working hard in the background, but there was very few IDOs happening, and the IDOs that were happening weren't performing that great. You know, 2x, 5x, 10x, some 20x's, some were listing and then 2x and then back down to 50% down. So what we want to look at next is what is likely to occur. Now remember, we are in the game of probabilities and not certainty. So there's always risk. You have to always accept that risk. But what I want to show you today is a particular pattern that I'm seeing. And if you take my free masterclass on Elliott Wave and Fibonacci, you'll get this because I cover this in particular, how the markets tend to move based on human psychology of fear and greed, right? Because it's buying patterns. So let's first pull up the Elliott Wave count. Is there a clear potential Elliott Wave count? Well, what I'm seeing is a potential wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and we should then anticipate a wave 5. And just to make that clearer, let's just make it like this. And let's just use the intermediate wave count. Right? Hopefully that's quite clear for you to see. I'm also now going to go into, look at the momentum on the daily. I'm going to draw an arrow here. You know, it's bearish, and we'll expect a reversal. And then when the next bearish reversal occurs on the momentum, it will more than likely coincide with a fifth wave. But then I want to talk about what's likely to occur next. So now I'm just going to dive into a 4-hour chart because it just shows the pattern a bit clearer. Right, so I'm just going to zoom back in. Let's just get rid of this. So this is textbook stuff here. So now what we want to do is project what is the likely end of wave 5, and then if that occurs, what's likely to occur next. And if you can be patient, you might be able to get your membership at a much cheaper price. Now look, if there's a project coming up, there's a few big ones coming up as well. XP Network is like tomorrow, and you just have to bite the bullet. It's not a terrible price. This is not a terrible price, you know, considering that BSCPad has been $7 in the past. So it's $1.33, so it's not a bad price. But what I'm anticipating is the following. Let's just measure this. We're going to do a wave 5 projection. And a typical wave 5 is 62% to 100%, this zone here. And then we'll do an external retracement. These are just Fibonacci numbers, and the markets really respond well to these numbers. Or this particular tool measures the psychology. Now keep in mind, this wave 4 has not been confirmed because we need to have a movement to the upside. So we need a confirmation. So I'm just doing this assuming that this is going to be near the low. But the key numbers for an end of wave 5 is 1.618 and 2. So we've got these two clean zones. And then what we can do is a nice little time analysis, which is where we're going to measure how long it took wave 1 to unfold, and we'll project that forward. We're assuming that, let's just say wave 4 goes on a little longer. In fact, let's just assume this one for now. Let's just assume here for now. I'm going to make sure I got the right ratios. 100. Yep, that's perfect. That will do. And then we're also going to do the same again, but for the wave 3. Let's just measure wave 3 and project it forward from this potential wave 4. Now we've got this real narrow price and time zone, right? Two zones. This one here, very narrow. Doesn't mean it's going to hit like this, but this is just what I'm preparing for myself, and I thought it would be helpful for you to see. If this does occur, we are talking about by the, what's the date here? On Dex Tools, the date doesn't show at the bottom, so I'm going to have to guesstimate. I'm going to guesstimate the date. I'm just going to measure this. This is the 7th of September at 2 p.m. And this is 10th. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to measure the dates. Let me do it this way. Hold up. It's annoying because the data is not available on when I use TradingView directly, but we want to have a rough date, and it's not that far away. Not that far away, but I want to have a rough date. What is this date here? So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Around 8 days, 8 days. So we're talking about the 21st, around the 21st of September, give or take. So we can anticipate a move to the upside, either this zone or this zone, so there. But what I want to cover today, the main thing about today's video, is if Bitcoin does unfold like this part here, like this happens, this move happens by the 21st, and then this correction, this first part of the move, if I just make it really, really clear, this part of the move, it's going to be quite optimistic for the markets. But what most people don't realize, if it does unfold like this is a corrective wave before a further downward movement. And we could anticipate something similar with BSCPad. And then if this does occur this way, what you should anticipate, what I'm anticipating, so this is what I'm anticipating, is a correction after this. And a typical correction is bigger than any previous correction in the wave in this sequence here. And it will look something like this. Again, we're working with probabilities, not certainties. But you might be able to get BSCPad at this kind of price. So let's just do, this is now total speculation, total forecasting, just because we're just seeing what is likely to occur or possible. What's a possible scenario to this movie? Let's just say it gets to $3. $3. Where's $3? Okay, let's be a bit more conservative. Where's the, oh, here we go, here we go. This one here. So let's just say, yeah, let's just say it gets to $3 roughly. What's the typical correction? So rather than buying at $3 or thereabouts, because sometimes when the market starts moving and a wave 5 starts really moving, people FOMO in, you know, fear of missing out, and people buy at $2, $2.50, $3. And if you're buying, you know, a platinum membership or a diamond membership or a blue diamond membership, $3 times 75,000, that's like $225,000. Whereas if you can get it at $1 or 50 cents, then you're paying like 30 grand. And you know, you can do the math for the other one. There's 10,000 tokens for other memberships as well. So now let's just do these retracements. 50%, 62%, and 78.6% retracement. This is the typical maximum. And depending on how far this goes up, if it only comes down to here, it will be lower. So we can kind of, we're guesstimating right now. So the high probability zone is the cluster. So we've got a cluster here. So let's just go with this one here. And let's just say the price pulls back to 81 cents. What's that? 81 cents. Let's pull up a calculator. Today's price is $1.33. So if we do, is this right? What's it here? Divided by. Yeah, is that a 66? Is that 40? Is that a 30? 34% discount? Is that right? 34% discount. So yeah. So we're minusing 34%. So you can get a third off. Potentially get a third off. That's quite right. Yeah, that's right. You know, just making sure the math runs and hangs together. So is now the right time to buy BSCPad? Well, it really depends. So let's have a look at the website again. What's coming up? So we click on projects, coming soon. Okay, so we've had loads of IDOs. We've had MetaBots today. It's listing tomorrow, depending on when you see this. We've got Viking Chains. I think that's on the 17th. We've got Identity. I think that's on the 15th or so. XP Network, I think, is in the next couple of days. This is going across a few platforms. But I think the biggest one that's up and coming, that I think is going to be huge, is on the 22nd, which is 22nd of September, which is the ValusPad, which you want to be really, really aware of. So what would be this date? Well, let's just have a look. So if we just count, what did we say here? We said 21st. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I'm going to do it this way, actually, rather than doing this. So I'm going to give you an approximate date for a correction. again, I'm forecasting here, but the typical minimum time taken for a correction is 50%. Probably be after Valis, to be honest. So we're going to take that into account. So it's a 22, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's around the 20th of October. So it might be a little while. It might be a little while for the correction. So it's kind of, I just wanted to kind of bring you this insight of timing of the market, you know, because if you're only going to buy the bigger memberships at a lower price, because there was a time for a short space of time that BSCPad was 40 cents per token, then you would have had a couple of opportunities to buy at that price, down here and down here. But the markets weren't looking optimistic, IDOs weren't looking optimistic, and there weren't many projects being launched during this phase. So you have to get that balance right of going, right, when there's a lot of pessimism, that might be the best time to get things at a discount. And when there's a lot of optimism, yes, you may make the biggest returns there, but often you're going to pay a premium, especially when it comes to launch pads. So hopefully you found that helpful. So to summarize, BSCPad, powerhouse launchpad. There's loads of launch pads, and there's a few that I've covered in my previous videos. I'm a fan of the Bluezilla team and their launch pads. But with what's happening with Bitcoin and what's likely to happen with Bitcoin, we're going to be hyper aware. There's probably going to mirror to a certain degree with BSCPad, and just be careful if you're buying here. Now, if your strategy is, I'm going to buy my membership and ride the wave for 6 to 9 months, then it doesn't matter. These short-term fluctuations you can just ignore. But if you're buying it for the first time, especially if you want, let's just say, again, let's just have a look. Let's just say you're trying to get into the platinum. Platinum is 10,000, right? 10,000. Today's price is $1.33 times 10,000. Obviously, you can do the math in your head, but let's just do it clearly. 13,300. You can get roughly a $5,000 discount. If it does get down to 80 cents, give or take, times 10,000 tokens, you'll see it's $8,000. So you're getting a big discount. And it might go even further down, we don't know, but it's just to kind of give you an insight and an overview of price action. Because the price, especially with crypto, because it's such an infant market, does really apply incredibly well when it comes to the psychology of the markets. Anyway, Fibonacci, in my opinion, is one of the best tools to use to read the markets. So do take my free Anywave and Fibonacci masterclass, because I just tell you how to do it, and you get more from the videos. And I know you have plenty of tokens in your own portfolio that I can't cover, because now the list has got literally way too long. So let's wrap up. Question for you. I'm considering doing YouTube lives so we can get more interaction, maybe as a private members group, because the YouTube allows to the members. So I want to give you what you need in time, because I know sometimes my videos, I do my video, and then there's the editing process, and it may be 1, 2, 3, 4 days sometimes before the video gets released. So help me out. Let me know what you want. Do you want lives? Do you want private memberships? How do you want me to structure it? What have you experienced out there with other YouTubers or other channels or other social media channels where I can give you more value, especially through YouTube, because YouTube is where I'm focusing mainly at the moment. So you let me know how I can bring you this, because I know some of you have taken the masterclass and even some of my advanced courses, and there's a learning curve, right? Everything's difficult before it's easy. There's a learning curve. And sometimes you just want to say, Jigay, you've been doing this for 15 years. Can you just do the analysis? I just understand it more, but you're going to be able to do it to a certain level. So let me know how I can help you more. Let's finish on a quote. Let's grab a random quote. Let's pick it in the middle of the book. Let's have a look. Yeah, I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. All right. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. That's Confucius, right? What I want you to also remember, even though the bull run right now, my projection and prediction is 6 to 9 months. Again, once the markets unfold for the next leg, we'll get a bit more data so we can be a bit more accurate in terms of when it's likely to end. But guess what's going to happen in the next 3-4 years when the next Bitcoin halving happens, or the next bull run? So we're going to keep learning for this particular time, but then the next cycles and in between, and there's loads of decentralized finance products coming up. There's GameFi, play to earn, and so on and so forth. So you're going to constantly be learning, reading the markets, learning crypto and getting more and more comfortable with this whole new space, which is going to be the future that we live in. Like the internet evolved over the last 2 decades, blockchain is going to be the future of what we're living in, and the kids that are going to follow us, blockchain is just going to be the norm as it is with the internet and mobile phones. All right, hope you enjoyed today's content. Let me know, do you want lives, memberships? Yeah, just give me some insights, and I'm almost asking for your advice. So scratch your itch. What's the itch, and how can I add you more value, especially through YouTube? All right, see you soon.